It is officially MLB Draft season. The MLB Draft Combine has been going on now. We're seeing the college season come to a close, and the mock drafts are finally starting to get spicy. So Kiley McDaniel over at ESPN just dropped his mock draft, and of course, I want to take a look at it, give you my thoughts and opinions on it. My mock draft will be coming out very soon, probably right around the start of July, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on that. But I wanted to go ahead and give you guys my opinion on what's going on with Kiley McDaniels over at ESPN. A little bit of a preview here so you can keep up to date with what's going on in the MLB Draft world. All right, so here it is. This literally came out this morning at 7 a.m. So going number 1 to the Cleveland Guardians, wow, J.J. Weatherholt. Okay, so shortstop from West Virginia, J.J. Weatherholt is going to be a top 10 pick, maybe even a top 5 pick, maybe even the number 1 according to Kiley McDaniel. Let's see why. I mentioned in my previous mock draft that 1-1 silly rumor season was in full swing, and those in the industry guessing what value-based play Cleveland will make at the top pick. The Guardians are casting a wide net in conversations. I'm pretty sure Cleveland have Chase Burns as the top college pitcher, Cam Caminiti as the top prep pitcher, and Connor Griffin as the top prep position player. I don't think they can justify taking any of those players, and I agree. I don't think any of those guys should go number 1 right now. That leaves us with 4 players they're considering: Condon, Bazana, Jac Caglianone, and Weatherholt. Condon is the best player in the draft in his mind, also a majority of the evaluators, but the buzz on what Cleveland thinks of him has been mixed. Bazana fits the Guardians' draft style a bit better, thus he is the most common industry guess for who Cleveland will take. He also likely won't cut a huge deal since he won't go past pick 4, and his camp knows he fits well in Cleveland. The rumors have been that they have been all over Caglianone this spring. Elite tools that you expect to see have a top overall pick. And there's the allure that drop in pitching will accelerate his growth at the plate. Ultimately, a corner-only, not particularly polished hitter doesn't fit Cleveland's style and history at all. That brings us to Weatherholt. So here's what he says about Weatherholt. He might be a major league shortstop and is definitely an infielder. He's basically above average at everything, ranging from elements of hitting to all traditional physical tools. So basically, he just likes the overall makeup of what J.J. Weatherholt has, and that's understandable. I mean, Weatherholt is one of the best players in college. This is what gets complicated with the MLB Draft because, in my opinion, Charlie Condon and Jac Caglianone are the clear 1-2 best players in this entire draft. But because of how things work in Major League Baseball, sometimes you don't necessarily just take the best players or even necessarily the best fit. The MLB Draft's weird. J.J. Weatherholt 1 is bold. I haven't really seen that much, but yeah, why not? If they want a middle infield guy, that makes sense. But again, it's going to be hard to pass on Charlie Condon and Jac Caglianone. All right, let's see who he has going number 2. 2 to the Reds, Charlie Condon. That makes sense. I think if Charlie Condon is available at 2, I don't see how the Reds could pass up on him. Now, granted, Jac Caglianone's how you could do that. Or Chase Burns, because the Reds have been pretty pitching forward recently in the last draft, like we saw with Rhett Lauder, and Chase Burns is definitely the best pitcher in this entire draft class. But Charlie Condon is going to be hard to pass. The dude is built like an absolute monster. He's mammoth. He's huge. Playing third base is learning how to play the outfield a little bit, which I think the Reds could use. He's going to be a very good player out in Cincinnati if they get him. The buzz has been that also if Cleveland passes on Condon, he'll go second, so it all adds up. Burns and Caglianone are the other mentioned here, and some mixed sentiment on Bazana is a real option. The industry speculation that Cincinnati is looking to roll savings and possibly its overage into a prep pitcher, the deepest demographic. Okay, so interesting. So that's a little context. They might be looking to go a little bit cheaper at 2. Number 3, Chase Burns to the Rockies. Oh, please no. Stop taking some of my favorite college pitchers and putting them on the Colorado Rockies. I was upset that Chase Dollander got drafted by the Rockies because it's just not, he's never going to be good there. He's so talented, but it's just going to be impossible for him to be a quality pitcher in Colorado. And now you're going to do the same things to Chase Burns. You did the same thing to Gabriel Hughes a couple years ago from Gonzaga, who I really liked out of the draft. I'm tired of the Rockies taking some of my favorite pitchers and just sending them to purgatory. Please don't take Chase Burns. If the Rockies have the number 3 overall pick and Jac Caglianone is there and they do not take him, that is malpractice. I know they have Zach Veen. I know they have some corner outfielders, but just please take bats. Stop taking fastball pitchers like Chase Burns. It's not going to work in Colorado. The only thing that's ever really worked out there was weirdly Ubaldo Jimenez and then Aaron Cook and sinker ball pitchers. It's just, I don't get it. Please don't take him, even though he's awesome. Okay, at 4, they have the Oakland A's going Travis Bazana. Yeah, I mean, just absolutely mashes. It makes sense there. Caglianone, wow, he has Caglianone dropping all the way to 5 to the White Sox, which if you are a White Sox fan, you should be rubbing your hands, licking your lips that Jac Cag drops that late. I know he's called him an unpolished hitter, and there are some things he has to work on, and he's not going to be a two-way player. He's going to play first base or maybe the corner outfield. But this guy at the plate mashes, and it's hard to find a guy that's as big and strong as him that hits like he does. I really like Jac Caglianone. I have a soft spot for guys in the SEC, of course. SEC fan. South Carolina Gamecock alum. So I just think it's by far the best division in all college baseball, and I think it is comparable to the high A, double A in between in the minor leagues, and he's dominated. So yeah, if the White Sox get him at 5, they should be throwing a party. And he should also be throwing a party too. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. There's not a lot of good teams to be taken here. You probably want to fall to 6 with the Kansas City Royals, who get Brady Montgomery, who is such a fun prospect. So Brady Montgomery a couple years ago was at the MLB Draft Combine that I actually got to attend in Cary, North Carolina, and he was by far one of my favorite prospects. At the time, he was a two-way player. He ended up going to Stanford, then transferred to Texas A&M. He is a sick athlete, really good hitter at the plate. There are a lot of things to love about Brady Montgomery's game. Very projectable future, a guy who has a very, very high ceiling. I would love to see the Royals take him there if he was here at 6. I think he is a top 5 talent in the draft. The only thing that confuses me is that the Royals have made some interesting picks the last couple years. Guys like Frank Mazzucato. They jumped up for Blake Mitchell. I don't know if a college bat necessarily fits I guess they took Gavin Cross the other year, so maybe Brady Montgomery fits better than what they've done in the past, but they seem to always be a little bit of a wild card in the draft. At 7, the St. Louis Cardinals getting Hagen Smith. Why does Hagen Smith feel like a St. Louis Cardinal? Can someone explain that to me? He just feels like a guy who's going to be a part of that rotation for the next 10, 15 years, be a lifelong Cardinal, maybe win a Cy Young, and just be disgusting. What he did at Arkansas this past year was incredible. He was arguably the best pitcher in all college baseball. Actually, not arguably. He was. Chase Burns, I think, is the best pitcher, but I think statistically speaking, Hagen Smith was the best. The Cardinals are in a good spot with one of the 2 top pitchers likely to make it. None of the elite hitters really in play, making that decision beyond their control, but they could act as a floor for Weather Holt, and they could also get their chance at any of the high school players in the country. Just feels like if Hagen Smith is there, the Cardinals should take him. I really like this pick a lot. Something that I could totally see myself mocking, because again, Hagen Smith just feels like a Cardinal, and I can't explain why. At number 8, the Angels go with Bryce Rayner from Harvard Westlake, which is just a baseball powerhouse out in California. Would be the first high school player taken. I've been hearing a lot of stuff that the Angels are looking for a college-ready bat or pitcher, and they basically want to put him in the major leagues immediately. So this is going a little bit off the beaten path. And yeah, even Kiley acknowledges it. Nope, not a fast-moving college player, but potentially an elite and local high school player. And I don't disagree. I think that might be the better pick here than trying to go after someone who can get to the majors quickly. But it seems like Artie Moreno, Perry Minasian, and the Angels are looking for those ready-now players like we've seen with Nolan Shanuel and Zach Neto and Ben Joyce. And even Sam Bachman came up pretty quickly. Like, they're looking for guys that can come up right now, be cheap, and make impacts. And this does not seem like it, but he is a good player. Like, this isn't crazy by any means for him to be a top 10 pick. He should be a top 10 pick. At number 9, the Pittsburgh Pirates, James Tibbs. Yeah, so Kiley McDaniel has been putting James Tibbs to the Pirates, I feel like, all mock draft season, and it seems like they're highly connected, but it looks like the Pirates are going to be going after a college outfielder based on a lot of the mock drafts that I've seen. For some teams, Tibbs wins a straight-up head-to-head with Kurtz, Montgomery, Christian Moore, and Ryan Waldschmidt as a power bat, not even factoring in price. Pittsburgh has kicked the tires on Caminiti, but is believed to be locked on college options at this pick, with Tibbs the perceived leader. Okay, yeah, I mean, again, he's been doing it all mock draft season, so that makes sense. 10, Connor Griffin. Connor Griffin, another massive human being, very good shortstop out of Mississippi High School, or I should say a high school in Mississippi, not the state of Mississippi High School. Griffin, or the best college position player available, believed to be in the mix here. Big Connor Griffin fan. I like how he projects for sure. And the Nationals have been known to take very big, projectable, strong players in the first round. Elijah Green, Brady House, just to name a few. Even Cade Cavalli a couple years ago. For the Tigers, going with Cam Caminiti, who again we previously mentioned should be the best high school / prep pitcher in the entire draft. A left-handed guy out of Arizona. He's also mentioned that Chase Harlan could be the choice for the Tigers at the next pick. Okay, so Cam Caminiti again. I haven't seen anything crazy here. 12, Christian Moore for the Boston Red Sox at second base. So Christian Moore, awesome hitter at the University of Tennessee. I'm interested to see if this is actually where the Red Sox go, because I'm looking at the guys kind of around here, and obviously I'm sure they're hoping that maybe one of these high school guys drops a little bit. I would be surprised to see him take a second baseman here, but also not at the same time. The Red Sox do just kind of go with who they perceive to be the best hitter or the best player available. And if none of the pitching options jump off the page, I guess Christian Moore does make the most sense, but he's another guy who I've seen drop anywhere to like the 20 to 25 range at times. 13, the Giants are going with, and you've got to be careful saying this name, Nick Kurtz. That is a dangerous name. My goodness, not going to say that one fast. But yeah, Mr. Kurtz here to the Giants. Interesting. He goes to the Giants. I don't necessarily agree with this pick. And again, I know you don't think of per se with the first round, like positional depth. And Kurtz is a very good player, but I am surprised they'd be going there when they just went after a Bryce Eldridge type and a Reggie Crawford type the last couple years, guys who are going to be first baseman or corner outfielders. And it looks like Mr. Kurtz is also going to be a similar type of player, if not just first base. He obviously mashed at Wake Forest. He's obviously a good hitter, but this one's probably one of the more head-scratching ones for me so far. 14, Ryan Waldschmidt of Kentucky, a dude who has been flying up the boards going to the Cubs here. because of how good he looked during the College World Series, or just college postseason, as we'll say. Again, another corner outfield guy with some good pop in that bat. Man, I don't know. I guess this is just a very college-heavy draft, and thinking about the guys in these first-round mocks that I've seen on other websites, it is a college-heavy draft. I don't know if I align with Ryan Walshman going here to the Chicago Cubs, but if you're riding the hot hand, and if you've seen what he's done in Omaha and during the college postseason, he has been incredible. At number 15, Trey Yesavage, I think is probably the correct way to pronounce it. I'm not sure exactly what the pronunciation's just yet. I've seen him go as high as inside the top 10. I've seen him go to the Angels at 8. Again, a guy who is going to move up quickly. Some of the best stuff in the draft. Really, really good fastball from Trey. I mean, it peaks at like 98, can sit 95 pretty much, and a really good slider and splitter combo. So that makes sense because the Mariners will probably just turn this dude into a monster because that's what they do with pitching. Although they've also found success with not first-round pitchers. So maybe they won't be going for a pitcher in the first round. That wouldn't surprise me. He also mentioned Theo Gillen as a real first landing spot here to Seattle. All right, for the Miami Marlins, Seaver King from Wake Forest at shortstop. The Marlins have, I don't want to say had bad drafts because that's not fair. That wouldn't be fair to the Marlins. Like Max Meyer's a pretty good player. They have picked some good prospects. But Jacob Berry, tough miss. Khalil Watson, tough miss. Like they need to hit at some point. And I do think Peter Bendix is going to be better than what they've been having in the past in terms of draft evaluation and prospect evaluation. Seaver King is an interesting one because he's a little bit older. He is a decent shortstop. I don't know if he sticks at that position, honestly. Like, I don't really necessarily see him as a shortstop. Good athlete, got to work on that power. It's weird. It's not really what I like in the first round pick, but it could be one of the more safe ones at the end of the day because of his athleticism and his high floor. Now at 17, I absolutely love this pick. Carson Bench of Oklahoma State, I think, is really, really good. And I think for the Brewers, this is a really, really good pick. Now, I don't think he's really a center fielder. I think he mostly played the corner this year, if that makes sense, but maybe you guys know better than me. I don't know. You can let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, yeah, I was right. He played 50 games in right field this year, so I'm not necessarily sure if that means he is going to be a center fielder. Again, maybe Kiley McDaniel knows better. These guys do put in significantly more work than me, so I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt there, but I love his swing. I love the way he hits. He's a good athlete as well. This feels like a really good pick by the Brewers. Someone who I've got a little bit higher on my board in terms of where I think they are ranking-wise in the draft, but this spot makes sense, and I totally get it. Number 18, Cameron Smith. Yeah, so Cameron Smith mashes. Cameron Smith is a hitter. Like Smith put up a near 1,200 OPS this year at Florida State. He absolutely mashes. 16 home runs, 57 RBIs on the year. The Rays have been getting aggressive with looking for just like legitimate bats. And this might sound crazy, but Isaac Paredes is probably on the move soon because they're going to have to pay him at some point. While they do have Braden Taylor, who looks great in the minor leagues, they have Carson Williams at shortstop. They have a lot of really good prospects coming up. They're always looking for more bats because they just have the ability to turn pitchers out of thin air. So I kind of like this pick of Cameron Smith. Now for my New York Mets, the Mets, Brody Becht out of Iowa. Whoa, I kind of like that a lot. Although I don't necessarily think the Mets need to, and this might sound crazy, use a first-round pick on pitching. The Mets have developed this pitching lab that is absolutely crazy, and they're getting some really, really good performances and numbers and stats out of guys who aren't first-round picks. But I can understand why you go Brody Becht, which is just one of the harder names to say because he's touched 100 miles an hour with that fastball. He has a disgusting wipeout slider, and he has a splitter. Things that the Mets prioritize are those three pitchers right now. They love the fastball, slider, splitter combination. They made Tyler McGill throw it this year. Brandon Sproat was a guy that they just drafted who also has a splitter. I love this. I love this pick of Brody Becht. Like, again, I'm not necessarily like the Mets need to get pitching because if you know the Mets farm system, you know they're loaded at pitching, but this guy would be awesome at number 19, especially throwing 101. Mets don't have a lot of guys that throw that hard. Well, not currently. Okay, at number 20, Malcolm Moore of Stanford, catcher by the Blue Jays. This is where I get confused because I like Malcolm Moore's swing, but I get nervous with catchers in the first round because I've been hurt by Kevin Parada. I've been hurt by Tyler Soderstrom. I've been hurt by other catchers that have been taken in the first round. Patrick Bailey, of course, made it to the majors. Looks pretty good. But the catcher progression of where you start and where you go and your development and your performance is just so hard every single day at the professional level. It's really hard to find those guys with the huge ceiling, which is why when you get a guy like Adley Rutschman, that's special. I don't know if I love the catcher pick here at 20 for the Blue Jays, especially when there are other guys available that I like. Like, I like Vance Honeycutt. I love Tommy White. I would love to see Tommy White go to the Toronto Blue Jays. Even like a Dakota Jordan out in the outfield, I know it would be a little bit of a reach, or just have some fun and take the switch pitcher Girangelo, and I don't really know how to pronounce his last name perfectly just yet, so I'm not going to try it until I get it right. I don't know, man. I don't see Malcolm Moore here. 21, Theo Gillen, who has been rumored to go as high as, I think, inside the top 10 or even up to 15 at the Mariners, which makes sense. He's a very, very good prep player. He's got the build that you like up the middle, 6'2", 200 pounds as an 18-year-old kid is crazy. Good hit tool, good power tool, good run. Probably needs to work in the field, which is why you see the second base tag here. But this dude can definitely mash. All right, at number 22, Kalen Culpepper to the Orioles. Anytime the Orioles make a pick, I'm going to be interested. They have just not missed, it seems like, in forever. Now, Culpepper, I don't want to say is a little bit of a reach here, but he's not someone I necessarily see as a first-round pick. I will say there's not much of an explanation here. I don't think if I was an Orioles fan, I would be thrilled about Kalen Culpepper at this spot, but maybe this is just the Orioles looking for a major league shortstop of the future because it seems like Jackson Holliday is going to be more so second base. 23, Cash May. Oh, wow, yeah, okay. This one would hurt because Cash Mayfield to the Dodgers, that feels pretty cash money. I would really like that pick if I was a Dodgers fan. We know how good their development is. He's also saying Girangelo might be a leading option here as well, which I just don't want to see the Dodgers do well because obviously as a Mets fan, they're completely competing with me. But Cash Mayfield is a 6'4" left-handed prep pitcher with a fastball that touches 97 with some arm-side run, a good changeup, and working on that curveball. I just know what the Dodgers have been able to do with development, and either of those pitchers between Cash Mayfield and Girangelo would be scary in that organization. All right, another team I don't like. Oh, yep, of course. So we're going to give the Braves Girangelo now, which, why are we doing this? Hurston Waldrop, I didn't want him to go to the Braves, went to the Braves. Terrified, not happy. I love Spencer Schwellenbach out of the draft. The Braves got him. Now they're going to get Girangelo. I don't like that one bit. Don't give them one of the most unique pitching prospects we have seen in a long time, please. But that would be a sick pick. All right, for the San Diego Padres, they always go super, super athletic, it feels like, in the draft. And they're going with Kellen Lindsey, shortstop out of Hardy High School in Florida. And what do you know? Kellen Lindsey has a 75 run grade, and you're working on the other tools with a projectable body size, 6'2", 175. The Padres just love twitchy athletes, and then they hope they can turn them into these great players like we've seen with Fernando Tatis Jr., Jackson Merrill. Don't be surprised if they go even crazier here in the first round late to try and save some money for some later picks. We saw when they even drafted James Wood, which James Wood, hello, crazy. He's nasty. Kellen Lindsey fits that bill perfectly. For the New York Yankees, Caleb Lomavita. I don't see it. I don't see a college catcher here for the Yankees, and maybe it's, again, just because I'm thinking of the organizational depth, and maybe that's the problem. But I don't think the Yankees have gone first-round catchers since Austin Wells, who I think they like enough. And they have Augustine Ramirez, who's playing like the catcher position a little bit, who can mash. I don't see the Yankees going catcher here, honestly. I'd be kind of surprised by it. It just doesn't make sense in my head. I see the Yankees maybe going with a prep pitcher, maybe going with someone strong up the middle. I don't know, man. That one doesn't seem like it's clicking for me. For the Philadelphia Phillies, Vance Honeycutt, okay. See, I don't like that either. Stop giving all the teams that I hate good players. Vance Honeycutt will absolutely mash in Philadelphia if he gets there, and I think he should. While there is some concern on the contact side, on the swing and miss side with Vance Honeycutt, the power is legit good. The power is awesome. He's a great athlete. He can play center field. He's got the projectable size as well. I don't like this for the Mets fans. I love this pick for the Phillies. I think they've done an incredible job drafting since Dave Dombrowski has gotten into that organization, and Vance Honeycutt would be another one of those picks where I'd be like, damn it, the Phillies did it again. Okay, for the Houston Astros, Dakota Jordan from Mississippi State. Astros are kicking tires on some prep position players, but are believed to be heavily leaning towards college position players at this pick. Dana Brown has been seen scouting Jordan and DeBarge at conference tournaments, and those two and Virginia shortstop Griff O'Farrell are all leading candidates. Prep righties here, they're eyeing William Schmidt and Ryan Sloan. So Dakota Jordan was someone that I mentioned earlier, another young-ish, good athletic outfielder. Now, he's not going to play center field. He's going to be a corner guy. He does have big power potential. 220 pounds. The dude is strong as hell. Again, another one of these guys in the SEC, 20 homers, and OPS at 1,200. That fits for the Astros. They don't really miss, and they love a good exit velo. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, Walker Janik from Sam Houston State, another catcher here. Man, we're really filling up the first round with catchers, and I gotta say, I feel like every year I see this in mock drafts. A ton of catchers in the first round, a ton of catchers. And then you look, and there just aren't as many as you expect, or the ones that are towards the bottom end up dropping a little bit more. Again, I'd be surprised if the Diamondbacks take Walker Janik, although, again, I'm probably thinking too much about just Organizational depth. They're also talking about there's some over slot guys that they'll be going here. I feel like the Diamondbacks are going to go pitcher. I don't know why. It just feels like this is a pitcher spot. I don't necessarily agree with catcher. And everyone apparently thinks that's going to be one of these three guys between Janik, O'Farrell, and Sanford. Interesting. I don't know, man. As we get deeper into the draft, it does get harder. Like, it's easy to tell the guys at the beginning. End of the first round, you kind of just start taking dudes who you like the most. If they like Walker Janik, I guess that's who they're going with. And then to finish out the first round, the Texas Rangers, Tommy White at third base, who, let's be honest, he's going to be a first baseman, Tommy White. For different reasons than Honeycutt, I'm also having trouble finding landing spots for Tommy Tanks. The bear case is he's a pro first baseman who chases out of the zone too often and might not get his power in pro ball because of it. The bull case is that he has improved at third base and rakes since the first moment scouts saw him as a prep underclassman in Florida. So what is he supposed to do? And I'd agree. Tommy White, another guy I saw at the Combine back in Cary, North Carolina a few years ago, was just hitting tanks. Tommy Tanks was hitting bombs, and he still hits bombs, and all he does is hit bombs. Again, he does have that chase issue. He's probably not a third baseman, probably a first baseman type. Fun fact, Pete Alonso started off at a third baseman when he went to the University of Florida originally, moved to first base. That would be the absolute best case scenario, I think, is you get a Pete Alonso type player out of Tommy White. Is that realistic? No, but I do like what the Texas Rangers have been able to do with player development, and I could see it for sure. And then just quickly looking at some other names here that could go in the technical first round: Griff O'Farrell, Billy Amick, Braylon Dowdy, Tyson Lewis, Wyatt Sanford, William Schmidt, Carter Johnson, PJ Morlando, who, if he doesn't go, will be committed to the University of South Carolina. Ooh, the Rockies. I love that a lot. Ryan Sloan, Oakland A's with Kyle DeBarge, Dax Whitney, Caleb Bonnemer, Joey Oakey, Jonathan Santucci, like him a lot. Good Italian boy as well. Ryan Prager, Slade Caldwell to the Mets at 46. Oh, this is the second round? Okay, I'm not going to read through all these. You guys can go to the article if you want to read it for yourself. But yeah, that's my reaction to the first round mock draft by Kiley McDaniel. Again, my mock draft will be coming out probably in a couple weeks, probably around that July 1st time. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out. If you want to see me react to other mock drafts as they come out, make sure to drop a like on the video so that I know you want to see this kind of content on the channel. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in description. And that's where I'll wrap it up for today. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.